In this lesson, we're going to talk about generalized anxiety disorder, sometimes abbreviated GAD. What we want to do is help you differentiate this from just the basic anxiety that we talked about in the last lesson. So this is not just the occasional anxiety. This is daily, unrealistic, excessive, uncontrollable, and persistent anxiety. These people live their everyday lives in this moderate to severe anxiety range. They absolutely cannot turn it off. They cannot release it, and it begins to manifest itself into physical symptoms. Now, the other way that we differentiate between GAD and anxiety is that with GAD, there is a clinically significant impact on their daily functioning. It keeps them from being able to do their normal daily tasks, their ADLs. They can't go to the grocery store. Sometimes they can't even get out of bed because they're so anxious. And then for diagnostic purposes, we say it also can't be explained by any other disorder that explains their symptoms. So, like I said, GAD tends to manifest regularly into physical symptoms. So they'll have sleeping troubles. They may have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Think about the worst anxiety you've ever felt, like let's say before a test or the night before a big game or before your wedding. Could you sleep? Didn't you wake up throughout the night? Now imagine not being able to fall asleep or stay asleep every night, right? So you can see how sleep really becomes an issue. And then of course, when you're anxious and not sleeping, you're going to be irritable and you're going to struggle to concentrate. There's too much on your mind. And then this anxiety starts to manifest itself as muscle tension. So that might be in like the head, neck, and shoulders. Or, for me personally, I carry a lot of my anxiety in my hips. So it's different for everybody, but it still will manifest in that muscle tension. You'll see clients that are just on edge all the time. They may even become hyper-focused on their physical symptoms. It's kind of hard for them to understand that their physical symptoms are only there because of the mental health issue. So their anxiety may get worse, thinking that there might be something physically wrong with them. So when someone does start to spiral into this panic mode, we want to make sure that we address the anxiety first. What's causing it? How can we help them calm down? And then we'll look at addressing the physical symptoms. Now, what I mean by this, let me kind of put it in a different context. Think about it this way. If I'm in so much pain that I'm nauseated, you can give me medication for the nausea, but it's just going to keep coming back, right? But if you address my pain, the chances are the nausea will be taken care of as well, right? Or how about someone who has a really bad headache because their blood pressure is too high? Get the blood pressure down, their headache will probably go away. So we want to deal with the anxiety first, and we can help them, identify what triggered the panic attack, help reorient them to reality, possibly help them, restructure any disorganized thinking and rationalize their thoughts. And again, this can be done with medication, addressing the anxiety. What we don't want to do is give them something to get their heart rate down or give them something to fix their blood pressure. What we want to do is address the actual anxiety part of the problem. Remember that during these panic attacks, they tend to lose all rational thought. So addressing that anxiety first, we can help them to kind of reorganize what's going on, and then we address the physical symptoms. So when it comes to nursing priority concepts, safety will always be first. We want to protect them from hurting themselves or others, make sure they're in a calm, safe environment. We help them to identify their triggers and provide them with resources on what to do when their symptoms return, or kind of how to have a plan when they're spiraling up to the panic level and how to cope. And then, of course, we also want to monitor their mood and affect, especially to look for risks of self-harm. So let's recap quickly. Generalized anxiety disorder is persistent, daily, excessive, uncontrollable anxiety that is pervasive and impacts daily life. It usually manifests itself physically in the form of muscle tension or trouble sleeping. So we want to help these clients to rationalize and reorganize their thoughts, especially when they're starting to lose rational thought. And then, of course, we address the anxiety first before we address the physical symptoms, and then always put safety first, address that risk for self-harm. So that's it for generalized anxiety disorder. Make sure you check out the care plan and the patient story attached to this lesson to learn more and to see this condition from multiple different angles. We love you guys. Go out and be your best selves today. And as always, happy nursing.